All right, everybody, we're back on the Where to Hunt podcast for our full feature segment. I'm your host, Eric Clark. We got Greg Tubbs here in the studio, the nameless studio. By the way, we're looking for a name for the studio, so let us know what you come up with. But before we get into the show, call out to our sponsors. Title sponsor, I'm wearing this awesome hat, Backwoods Grind Coffee, backwoodsgrind.com. If you want to try a fun experiment, head on over to backwoodsgrind.com and smell your screen. Their website smells like coffee. That's how good their shit is. It's amazing. Once you actually get a whiff of that website, you're not going to want to go back. You're going to want to put that coffee in your shopping cart and hit purchase. And when you do, go ahead and enter in code W2H podcast for 10% off. Additionally, Gumleaf USA, gumleafusa.com. These are Gumleaf boots. They are 85% natural rubber, handmade boots with Vibram soles. These are way more flexible than any other boot you're going to find in the market as far as I'm concerned. I rock the Royal Zips for a little bit of the later season bow because they have a neoprene insulation. And Greg, you rock those too, right?
Yes, they do.
And I got the field wellies for early season. They're no insulation.
Yep, and I've got a field boot also with no insulation, which worked out fine through September and into most of October.
So those are they're really great, and really it's a bigger ticket item. I don't think they're overpriced at all for what you get. They're going to last you a lot longer than the other boots that were, they have synthetic plastics and materials in them. They break down quicker, they puncture easier, etc. They're not as flexible. They're certainly not as comfortable. And you can't get Gumleafs in big box stores, so you're going to want to head over to their website. And when you do, you can enter in code W2H2019 and get yourself free shipping, because we all love free shipping. And then lastly, this flannel that I'm wearing is this awesome. What material would you say this is? It's like
fleece.
It's a fleece flannel.
It's a fleece flannel.
A fleece flannel.
Fleece first, flannel second.
It's a fleece flannel from Venado. VenadoInc.com/discount/where2hunt with the number 2, or enter in code where the number 2, the word hunt, and anything, and you're going to save yourself 20% off. So I wear this thing way too much. I probably got some baby puke on this. It absorbs it well and it wipes off easy. It's great for raking the leaves. I mean, I've just been wearing this thing like every fucking day. I know you got a green one, right?
I had a green one. Your boy christened it with the little vomit the other day, so it went through the wash, and now it's hanging up to dry.
Yeah. I have not dried mine in the dryer. I just have been letting it air dry.
Wash it and air dry it.
But air dries easy. So that's what we got for sponsors, guys. Go check these guys out. They support the show, and if you like the show, then you ought to like these guys too, or at least check them out.
And they do give back 2% to conservation, which is pretty important.
That's right. Thanks, Greg. Good call.
You got me around here for something, right?
Cool. And you and so we have our guests on the line. Greg, what's going on? Greg Litzinger with Bow Hunting Fiend.
He is the bow.
Hey, what's happening, man?
This is your a hat trick. You're a three-peat guest on the
number
podcast.
3.
Wow, we're pretty fortunate.
You're the first third. I don't know.
Hey, you scraping the bottom of the barrel, huh?
That's what happened.
No, man, we love what you do. I can say personally that I reached out to you on Instagram, just asked you a question about, archery form or whatever, and you were all about trying to help, and you're a pretty cool guy, and I appreciate everything that you do just to try and help people out, being a good person, and that's number one. For me anyway, just be a good person, pay it forward kind of thing, and I think you do that really well.
Thanks, man. Just be nice. All we gotta do is be nice to one another.
That's right. It ain't that hard.
No, man, that's a good motto, and it's pretty simple. You shared some pretty neat pictures on Instagram not that long ago, a couple bucks. I have not heard the story yet.
Yeah. It's a story that you couldn't even write it if you wanted to. It was a story that will stand the test of time. When I'm 80 years old, I'll still think it's probably the greatest hunting story one could be part of. But as some of your listeners probably don't know, I've been hunting out of state for 15 years, and I've never shot a buck. Had a lot of close calls. Arrows have definitely been sent, but no impacts, no blood drawn. Shot does, can shoot doe. I'm a doe magnet in the month of November. Out of state, I'll find the does, but does ain't bucks. So I through social media, I've befriending quite a few people, and the Johnny Stewart, John Stewart, his Instagram handle is the Johnny Stewart, invited me out to hunt Western PA, Allegheny National Forest.
Cool.
We did a little, him and Bo, we did some scouting around there last spring. It was pretty cool. We ended up hunting where Johnny always hunts because he's got a cabin there, so it's a little more homey, I guess.
It's kind of cool.
That's nice.
So, yeah, I drove up last Sunday, not last Sunday, the Sunday before, and perfect weather, it was cool, chilly, and Monday morning came, and busted a buck walking in. I could smell him, and had a deer run off.
Nice.
So,
that close, huh?
Yeah. It was like, oh, here we go again. It was literally, I'm like, it's happening again. I was like, I don't believe this. The first hour into a week-long hunting session, I walk right into a buck across the lands. I'm like, he's close. You hear him kind of like go off through the things. I'm like, 5 days of this. I was like, I wasn't too happy. I ended up going down into the draw, really far down and almost into the valley, which is just odd to me because I don't hunt low. I'm the upper 1/3 kind of hunter. And Johnny was like, the wind swirls, you're fine. You're going to see does going to come from here and here and here. And sure enough, I seen 11 does. I seen a glimpse of, like a rack buck, but by the time I got my glass, finest up, it was, gone. They have what's called beach brush. It's, 6 foot high beech, young saplings of beech, still leaves on it. So you catch little glimpses of stuff. It's very reminiscent of like cattails,
It's dense.
You can't really see through it, but you can see movement in it, kind of deal.
Windy day would really suck. What was the wind like? Because maybe it wouldn't suck. It's probably a good thing, but I would just say every freaking time the wind would blow, I'd be like, oh, God, it's a deer.
Yeah. They said the wind was blowing every which way, which was, I'm down low, but it's where all the big buck signers, man. They don't hunt high because up high at the Allegheny National Forest, a lot in the county he's in, like you're close to the top of the mountain, so most people hunt from the road, so you hunt close. You go to the upper 1/3, so I think it pushes the deer down, and they've just learned to adapt over the years. There's more cover, there's more food, and there's no people because most people won't go down out of their vehicle, in the dark. So they'd rather hike up, I know I do. I don't like hiking down in the morning. It's just a weird feeling. But, so, I had a bunch of does come in. I could have shot, probably 8 of them. When I say shot, 15 yards. I was, in it, so, get back to the cabin, we eat, we discuss what we're going to do. Wake up Tuesday in a pouring rain, cold rain. So Johnny takes me to a clear cut, and he's like, walk down this clear cut, get on this point, just search for a hot sign. So I do that, and on my way back, this big clear cut, I start glassing the clear cut because the rain stopped, the sun's coming out, and I'm like, I want to see deer. I know I want to see deer, so I'm really glassing, and it's probably a 8-year-old clear cut, so it's probably about 6 to 7 foot tall, just shit, basically. And I'm glassing like an actor. I can actually shoot something in there. It's so thick. A gun, it would probably stop a bullet. Some of that stuff, it's so dense. But walking out, I'm, seeing some movement. I'm like, there's deer in here. I know there's deer in here. And I look to my right and I look to my left because the clear cut's on my left, and I see shiny white antlers. And him and I kind of make eye contact, scared at the same time, like, ha! And I'm like, I get the bow ready, I get ready, and I'm like, he's just face to face, and there's some brush on the road, that beach brush is on the side of the road. He knows something's there because he's seen movement, but he doesn't know what it is. We had the old Mexican standoff, so we're like, so finally he gets nervous and goes up the hill, and there's no shots, a gun maybe I could squeeze a bull in there, but he was probably like a 120, 130 inch 9-pointer. Not a mega giant, but a good mountain buck, mature 3-year-old deer probably.
Nice.
And talk about heart sinking, because there again, 2 days in a row, I got, I'm within, yeah, and I watch him walk away up this thing, and he didn't spook, but it just hurt really bad because 2 days in a row, bucks, close, smell them, see them, and I'm like, oh, this fucking trip. I was happy, but not. So I go back to the truck. I text him, and what happened. He's like, oh man. He goes, don't worry, I got something to cheer you up when you get back to the house. I thought he made like lunch or something. No. So I get back to the house. He shows me trail cam pictures of all these day walkers. There's a place where we're going to go. He goes, I got 2 spots. This is one where we're going to go. And there was 2 massive day walkers. The big 8-pointer he shot and this 13-pointer. That day, Tuesday morning.
Wow.
So he tells me to wash up, get ready. I'm going to put you here, and I'm going to go down here and hunt. So we're driving there, and he's like, all right, there's going to be a down tree, and there's going to be a group of cherries. Like they're growing together, but they're not growing together. They're just real tight. So I'm like, all right. I'm thinking when he said cherry trees, it was going to be like 1 or 2. No, it was a clear cut of cherry trees. So I get in there, and I'm like, he gives me like the Onyx, like general location. Right? He's like, oh, there's going to be a blowdown and just this group of cherry trees. That's all cherry trees. You have 90% cherry trees. So I'm like,
wow.
What the shit is this? Yeah, I'm like,
pick one, anyone.
I'm like, yeah, I was like, if I get in the wrong tree and I see that 13-pointer or that big 8 or any buck, and I'm in the wrong tree, first of all, I'll probably swan dive out of it. And second of all, I'll probably never hear the end of it from Johnny that I got in the wrong tree. So I'm like, I got to find this tree. So instead of walking the clear cut down, just clear cut, I came up. Like I walked past his little waypoint that he gave me, and I walked up, and I'm like, all right, no, that's not it. That's 2. He told me like they were, 8 inches, 10 inches in diameter. So I'm like, all right. Well, most of the trees, they're all the same age class, about the same diameter. So I'm like, and I start seeing like clusters of cherries. I'm like, all right, maybe that's it. I'm using my binoculars. I'm like, no, that's not it. Maybe that's it. No, that's not it. And I come up to a tree. I'm standing in front of it because I can see 2 old rubs, kind of like a deer trail. And I'm like, this has got to be it. Like Johnny, like he likes hunting buck sign. So I'm like, this has got to be it. And I'm looking over to my right, about 20 yards off. There's another group of trees. I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, am I doing a coin toss on this one? I'm looking at that tree, and I'm like, that just seems, he's like, it's going to be right on the edge where the 2 clear cuts kind of meet. I'm like, it's not on the edge. This one's on the edge. I'm going to go with this one. So I climb up. I put my, actually took my Lone Wolf Climber. I didn't take the saddle with me, just for simplicity. So I get maybe 6, 8 feet. And I got my backpack on, I got the camera on. I'm like, I'm ready to do it. The sun, the rain stopped, sun's getting ready to break through, and I hear burr in the clear cut, and I hear antlers hitting saplings, and I'm like, you got to be shitting me. I was like, I can't turn around because I'm inside this cluster of trees, so my backpack's hitting like every tree, and I'm trying to turn around, and I'm like, I can't see anything, and I hear whoosh, whoosh. This deer's scraping like 15 yards away, and I'm like, So I literally just pulled my bow up while this deer's making all this noise. I don't even know what's going on. I kind of like look over my shoulder. My deer's kind of wide. All I seen was like, he's probably 17 inches wide, 16, 17 inches wide. So all I see is like the width. I don't see the mass of the antlers, but a good neck, and width of antlers. I'm like, oh my God, he's right there. And he's like 10 yards behind me. So I'm trying to get an arrow out. I knock an arrow, and I'm like, I don't have my safety harness on. If you're in a 2-piece climber, these things are a little shaky. So I'm like trying to stand in the middle of the climber. My backpack's hitting the tree to the, behind me, so I gotta like weasel around. So I get to where I think he's gonna go. No, he goes the other way. So I get in a position. I gotta rework, get back around, and turn to the left. And when I do, he's literally 5 yards out in front of me. and I'm like, and I just pull back and.
Could you smell this one?
I just let it rip. No.
5 yards.
No.
5 yards. I mean, that's like, you guys can't see this on the screen, but like, that's 5 yards.
No,
Yeah.
That's a little further.
Yeah.
That's a little closer than 5 yards. 5 yards is probably over to almost to your closet door, maybe just a little past that to the back of the closet. It's not far.
5 yards is
Chip shot.
really close.
It's a chip shot. So this
Yeah,
That's half a first down.
This all happened though.
Yeah.
It sounds like within minutes of you getting up the tree and just starting to kind of get things settled and figure out where to put stuff, and all of a sudden you hear a deer grunt. You didn't even have an arrow knocked yet. You had nothing hung up.
Yeah. Yeah, I had nothing. Like I said, I wasn't even.
Let's pause for just 1 second.
I was going to get up higher.
Greg, we do have a caller on the line. He's been hanging out for a while.
Uh-oh.
So we're going to bring Kurt into the line, see if he's got a question, and then we'll get back. Do you have a bookmark where we're at?
Okay.
Yep.
5 yards.
5 yards.
Half a first down. Hey, Kurt, you're live on the podcast. What's going on, man?
Not too much. Just reporting back from Pennsylvania Public. Last week, I'm sure you saw the picture I posted. I think you liked it, of a nice mountain buck I shot. Actually, things were kind of slow up there. He kind of was doing his thing. Didn't even really seem like he was rutted up much up there. I stay in touch with all the guys up there. I live in Ohio, so talk back and forth, but things were pretty slow. They picked up during the week a little bit, but when he came across the field, hit him with the can call, and I actually do a lot of rope scrapes. He went right to the rope scrape. Luckily, he was angling away and basically snuck one in. Had to shoot basically off my knees from the stand, but nothing like it normally is. Not a lot of chasing up here in Ohio. Not a lot of chasing up there. Did spotlight, it's legal up there as long as you're not carrying a weapon at night, and there was some bigger bucks rutting, keeping tabs on those, but never really saw that rutting action everybody's kind of been talking about.
When you're not far from
scraping.
Greg Litzinger, then I'm geographically challenged, but correct me if I'm wrong, Pennsylvania and New Jersey aren't that far apart, are they?
No, I'm northern Pennsylvania.
Kind of far.
Okay, well,
I'm northern Pennsylvania, but I'm hunting up in basically 40 minutes off the New York border is where I'm at. So Warren County, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's where I killed my buck at. That's where we killed all our bucks at. I think it's Warren, A&F, Allegheny. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, you're really close to me then. I'm actually on the Allegheny River.
That's
where my camp is at. So.
How far is that, fellas, from the Appalachian Trail? How far are you guys from that?
I'm not familiar with that. Honestly, I'm venturing out as I go, but that should be farther east, correct?
Yeah, the AT's all east.
Yep.
It doesn't go out that. Yeah, it goes to maybe Scranton. I guess maybe Scranton's probably.
Okay, Scranton's. Yeah, that's far east. That's probably another 3 hours.
Yeah. Maybe Scranton. It's somewhere around there, like wherever Blue Mountain is.
Yeah, Bradford County area. That should be Bradford.
Yeah, a little bit south of there. Yeah, a little bit south of Bradford. Yeah.
Well, congrats on the mountain buck, Kurt. I know you're a long-time listener, so that's
good.
really cool to hear, man. And I did like it. I'm trying to find it now, but I'm not I don't remember where it came through. It's a lot of noise on social.
It was under the one you put. What's happening this weekend?
Yeah.
I actually had one heck of a week. I don't hunt public in Ohio that much because I'm a resident here and I have the luxury of having it. I shot a really, really big 8 Monday and then slid up to my cabin up there and got a Friday evening hunt in and was able to get him. But to be honest with you, my dad was hunting the other side. He's able to watch me shoot it, which was pretty cool. It came out above him and it kind of scurried across the field looking back. And he said it looked scared. When I hung him up to skin him and stuff, his back leg was actually hit. I don't know if somebody shot him with an arrow or what, but the bone was still loose, and I don't know if he was in healing mode, and that's maybe why he wasn't swelled up, or somebody had just shot at him. It wasn't like a real good flesh wound to bleed, so you really couldn't tell. But it was interesting, but he kept looking back, but that can call just kind of totally tricked him. He was looking for the deer. walked right to the rope scrape, which there was a set of doe tracks in. We had a little bit of snowfall during the middle of the week that stayed, so things kind of played in my favor, and sometimes it works out. Usually do pretty well up there, but it was a really, really cool hunt the way it played out, and was able to slip an arrow through, make a good shot on him, and didn't go very far, which is always good. You know, when I don't see my bow kills drop in eyesight, I get kind of worried, but he was hurting before he even hit about 80 yards, so good recovery, good hunt. But like I said, I never really saw the rut that I normally see up there. I'm usually counting 7 or 8 shooters, maybe not in range, but a lot of action. A couple of my buddies just shot bucks this week, one tonight and one Monday. So it must be hopping. It's just where you're at, man. It's putting out, you know. It's a buddy of mine told me this. He said, take a topographic map and drop a pencil tip on it, and that's what you're trying to get a deer to do in public land. Get to that pencil tip, so it kind of puts it in reality.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, you're hunting all this area, and you got to put it within 20, 30, 40 yards if you're proficient enough to shoot that far. So we're all aiming for the same thing. It's just whether you get that deer to go your way and stop, more importantly. So.
Well, good work, man. Thanks for the report, and thanks for sharing the photo.
Yeah.
If you want to drop it in the comments of this live broadcast, folks can comment in there with you. But we're going to stay tuned in because, you know, Greg's story is just getting started here. And I think we're in for a wild ride. And thanks for sharing yours too, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, Kurt.
Yeah, man.
Problem.
Good deal.
You have a good
night. All right,
night.
thanks, guys.
Tell your buddy congrats too.
You too. All righty, appreciate it.
All right,
we'll
bye.
Talk to you.
All right.
Bye.
This week's been a good week for a lot of people.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, we're popping off, man. We're taking calls from all over the place for the Rut Club radio that we did, 30 minutes ago, hour ago, whatever it was. It's been one hell of a week so far for folks. So, and you included. So let's get back into it.
Mm-hmm.
Half a first down away in a cherry tree.
Yeah.
One of many cherry trees.
Yeah, right. Like, where's the?
Yeah.
But so real quick, was your buddy? He wasn't messing with you though either, right? He was like, oh yeah, it's the cherry tree.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh cool, that should be easy to find. You're like,
yeah, that's what I thought. I'm like, oh, it's cherry tree. How? Because they're not really common by me. So I'm like, oh, cherry trees they're rare, you know, unless you're in like a patch of cherry trees. But for most parts, like you get random 1 or 2 cherries. Now this whole thing was just all cherries.
And we got them here, and ours. I mean, I'm assuming that they've got kind of a shaggier bark. At least ours do here, and they don't really produce any fruit. But if you were to cut them open and even use them for firewood, I mean, they're great for cabinet wood. They got a beautiful grain, and they look good. And they smell nice when they burn. But yeah, I mean,
exactly.
My mother-in-law's woods is loaded with them. They're big too. But anyway. Back to you.
So let's see. We're ready?
Ready.
we're ready for you, man.
Okay, so where was I? 5 yards. Yeah, I turned around. He was at 5 yards. Off, making all these, and I don't hear that very often. So it was kind of cool watching that deer scrape like that and grunt. And his tarsal glands were black. And I gave him like the one over. I'm like, I'm shooting this deer. It's not the big 8. Not the 13-pointer, but it's a buck at 5 yards. I was like, and I am finally shooting the buck out of state. So I pull back, I put the pin on it, and before I left, my wife's like, just please come back with something. Just anything. Just kill something. So I got like that in my head, so I'm like, this deer's going down. So
that's funny.
Yeah, so I pull back, and I'm using a 1-pin slide for the first time this year, hunting just on this one bow, and I had it set for 25 or 30 usually, because the spots I'm hunting, I'm a little, I'm like 20 yards away. So not even thinking, I just put it on its heart, and just let it rip, and I hit it in its spine, it drops, and I put another arrow in it. So I text Johnny, and I'm like, oh, I finally did it. Yeah, I got him. He's like, I'm not even really set up. I'm on my way. Stay there. So like I'm climbing down. Yeah, I get these, go over to the deer, and I'm just pumped, excited. Finally, 15 years. Wow. 12 12 years of actually hunting out of state. I had 3 years I had injuries, so I didn't really go hunt out of state. 2 years I had injuries, and 1 year I bought my house. So I didn't do. So it's 12 out of state hunts, no bucks, and then finally, actually kill one was, I don't even know, I was on cloud 9.
So at some point
So,
in that 12 years, you're thinking, you're going out to hunt, you're like, it's not even gonna happen. Like, your expectation for seeing something's got to be so low at this point. Like,
I mean, I go to Long Island with my buddy Double Lunger, and he's got deer. I mean, I see the deer,
Tank deer.
but seeing and killing is not the same. I see a lot of big deer during November, but I don't kill many. I've only killed maybe 4. I kill all my deer when they're like early October, middle of October. So I'll see the deer in November, but I very rarely get a shot and actually have everything, play out, and especially in the Allegheny National Forest, it's just even cooler. So Johnny comes up, he's like, let's drag your deer to the road. I'm going to come, just leave your stand there. I'm going to get in the tree. I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, it's too early. It was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, whatever, 2:15 or something. It was super early. So we drag my deer to the road. I take his car, I go down and get my truck, and I come back. And as I'm driving back where my deer was, I was going to park close, gut it, and then wait till dark, get in the truck. I drive and I look over and there's deer, there's does, like near where my deer was. So I'm like, oh, I'll keep on driving. So I drive down like 5 miles or so, turn around, come back, park a lot further away than I wanted to. And, I just get out of the truck and walking up. My phone rings. It's Johnny. I'm like, I missed a call, and he sends a text. I shot the big 8. Literally.
Same tree, just after you stunk up the whole area walking around,
literally.
dragging bloody deer out.
Yeah, less than 2 hours. Not even. It's like an hour and 40 minutes difference. So I'm like, get the fuck out of here. He's like, yeah, I'm at your deer. I'm like, oh, like you shot like, and he's hanging out at my deer. So we get up. He's like, I'm gonna lay it till dark. I'm like, all right. I was like, it's a big 8. Yeah. He goes, yeah, I watched it drop. He goes, I smoked it. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, you're fucking with me, right? He's like, no, he's dead. Snow plows. As I hit him, snow plows. I was like, the big 8. He goes, yeah, the big 8. And I mean, you see the pictures. I mean, that's a monster 8-pointer.
That's a big 8-pointer, real thick
and
beams.
Yeah. So we're sitting there bullshitting, and we're all excited. We're all like high-fiving. I was like, and that's the first deer he's killed in that section of mountains with a bow in a long time.
You doubled up out of the same stand within hours.
Yeah.
So what happened with his?
Like
what was his story? Unless you're going to tell me and I'm jumping ahead. I'll let you just keep doing it.
Yeah, Eric, shut up.
God, so he's, like I said, I went to get the truck. He sat in the stand, and he said, I was only gone like 20 minutes or so, and the doe came out. And then that big buck came out, and then the doe kind of bolted, and he's like, here we go. And then the buck was like, nope, I'm good. I'm just going to walk right out in this opening. And he just drilled it. So we were going to wait till dark to get it because he didn't want to mess up the spot or whatever. And he's like, now let's go get him. We're all excited. My first, out-of-state buck, his first bow kill in 4 or 5 years, and his first, like, big, bow kill in PA in a long time. So we get to it, and I remember just walking up to it, and I'm like, what the fuck is that thing? It was just so big. I mean, this big feet, body, shoulders, legs, neck.
How far was
antlers.
the drag?
I don't know. We were a couple 100 yards from the road.
Okay.
Which was
not bad.
But
it's uphill.
Yeah, not too bad. But it was, I've been in a lot worse drags and I've been in a lot better drags. But we were probably, 400 yards from the road. So it wasn't an easy drag by any means, But yeah, so we drag it and we gut it, and we're all high-fiving, can't believe it. Get it in the truck, and his deer was so big, like we were struggling to get it into the truck because I got a Ford, so the tail end sits kind of higher. It's real high, which I hate. But my deer goes right in, and like his deer's like, oh, just and we're like,
fight with
and stinking the tarsal. Yeah, the tarsal gland smells everywhere. I mean, it's just like it's awful. So we drive back to the cabin, and I back in. And And the guy's like, well, yeah, there's two other guys in the cabin, Jason and another guy named Greg. And he's like, we got one. And they come out and it's like, you motherfuckers, and they couldn't believe we're all like we're high-fiving, drinking beer, having a good old time. And then we get it put up on we use Johnny's excavator because he's building the cabin, so he's got an excavator up there. And so we struggle to get his deer up off the ground, It was 4 guys trying to get that up. It was a struggle to get. I mean,
damn,
it's just so massive, yeah. And we're sitting there, and we're eating, eating some food, bullshitting. And Johnny told Jason, his lifelong hunting partner, I'm taking you to that tree in the morning. And Jason's kind of reluctant a little bit. And Johnny's like, no, trust me. You're going in that tree. Deer there. So, yeah, Jason, Johnny, I get up and PA, you're one and done, buck-wise. So I'm like, well, I'll sleep in, which I didn't sleep in. I was too jacked up. So he puts Jason, they drive out there and they walk in the woods. Johnny forgets his phone. Doesn't have his Onyx maps. I look over the counter and I'm like, oh. So they're looking for my lone wolf climber in the dark.
Oh, shit.
They have an idea where it's at, but they end up finding it, And Jason, unbeknownst to me, doesn't know how to use a lone wolf climber, like a 2-piece climber. He's always used like a summit.
I wouldn't either, actually.
So,
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, so he gets in there, he gets up in a tree, and he doesn't use stabilizing straps to hold the seat and the stand together. So the seat keeps falling down, on him throughout the day. Text messages are kind of, I ain't seen a deer, I'm leaving. And then we get a text message I don't know, 2:30. I missed a big 8, or I missed an 8-pointer, a good 8-pointer. And we were like, oh, this motherfucker, So, and then he comes back to the cabin. Jason comes back. He's all smiling, giggling, walking up. He's pointing to his bow, giving thumbs up. We're like, what the fuck's he doing? Well, here it is. He thought he missed, but I guess he hit a limb because he used a Luminox or whatever, and it looks like he just missed completely, but he ended up hitting the deer, and he didn't know until because the arrow blew right through it. So he goes up to it, and there's blood there. So this was
he must have been
3
so
o'clock
confused.
or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. So we wait till about 9 o'clock, and we check the weather. They're calling for rain and snow in the morning.
Ooh.
So we're like, because it's Wednesday night, so we're like, all right, we're going out. We're going to go out there. If we go out there, and we're walking through the woods, I look over, it's like, oh, there's Luminox, because he stuck the Luminox in the ground.
Yeah.
And they're like, Jason and Johnny were like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's over there. Look, let's not walk over there. We're right here. It's a Luminox. We're going to go right to the arrow. So we go right to the arrow, and there's blood everywhere. And we track it, and there's a bed, there's some blood in it. We, find another bed with blood. We're like, oh, man, this is not good. We end up finding Jason's deer, he wasn't dead. We had to put another arrow in it. But, so 3 bucks, same tree, in 25 hours. Over 300 inches of antler, and a 25-hour span from the same tree in the Allegheny National Forest.
Wow, man. Wow. That was just a real hot spot then, huh?
Yeah.
Do you think there was there like a rub line there? Were there scrapes? I mean, what was there hot dough in the area? You were just in the absolute right spot.
It has to be hot though. You couldn't, like I said before the story started, you couldn't script a story like this. You couldn't write it. Something like this to happen. When we find this deer, it was high five. We couldn't believe it. We're all shitting our pants, basically, in excitement.
This is the kind of deer camp you're going to be talking about for the next 15, 20 years.
Yes.
2019,
and
man. It was the fucking cherry tree.
And it's a small, it's a small town where their cabin is really tiny, old mill town from the early 1900s. So it's there's really not much there. A little local watering hole, bar, restaurant. So we ended up stopping there to get beer, and pretty much that's where everybody goes. So we walk in, and it was people are oh my God, congratulations. We were walking we just won the World Series or something, because to do what we did, and in the Allegheny National Forest, and for Johnny to kill that size of a deer, and for Jason to kill a deer and for me to kill a deer, all my deer was 2.5, Jason's was probably 3.5, and Johnny, come to find out, a local had that deer on camera for 3 years.
Oh, gosh.
And he was big 3 years ago. Yeah, wow. He was big 8-pointer 3 years ago. So Johnny's deer could possibly be 6 years old or older. Wow. Five the earliest. But it was so big, the picture, from 3 years ago, you're like, that's the biggest 2-year-old I've ever seen. For a non-agri, like non-Midwest type deer.
Yeah, it's not a native deer. That's a big woods deer.
Yeah, and just unreal, and I said Jason hasn't killed a buck with his bow in that area in quite a few years, and for all of us to accomplish something, and I said Johnny set them cameras up right before Halloween, just on a whim, like, man, I'm going to put the cameras in here, and he put 2 cameras kind of, in these 2 trails that are coming up, one facing one way, one facing the other, so he used the camera, 2 cameras covers a wide area, like a big area, and he pulled it, and it was like, a 13-pointer, and a massive 8-pointer, and a bunch of other deer. But he said that Johnny Stewart, he's a guy when he talks about deer, like I listen, he's killed big deer in numerous states, Iowa, Illinois, Ohio, West Virginia, whatever. I mean, the list goes on. Like, yeah, he's killed big deer everywhere, all in public.
How often do you guys hunt together? Was that a pretty rare occasion? You guys hunted together a couple times, you said?
First time. I scouted with him last spring, yeah. And then we hung out the Total Archery Challenge a little bit, with Bo. And then, you can just click with certain people, they had the same passion for you, and that's what's great about, like, social media, podcasting. Like, you connect with people, because your friends might not be on the same path you are, which is fine. So it's hard to have your friends be as diehard as you in an endeavor, be it sports, weightlifting, whatever it might be. Usually, you're a lone wolf when you do these things, So I just, Johnny and Instagram, and I love mountain hunting, I just love hunting deer, the passion. Yeah. And him and I just, we just clicked. Like, it's kind of guy like...
Someone else takes it as seriously as you. And, yeah.
And it's, it's one of those moments. And like how it played out, I shot the smallest deer, the youngest deer, which is the way it should be. I didn't really do the work. I was invited up there as a guest. He put me, told me where to go. Like, he does all the with cameras and he lives like 3 hours from his cabin. He goes up there all the time for a day, moving cameras, scouting. He's a scouting machine. He sat, I think he had 10 hours of seat time this year. He shot out of 150 and missed and killed that deer because he scouted so much. He scouts more than he hunts.
I just can't believe you guys all got deer out of the same freaking tree inside of basically a day.
That's a spot on the spot.
Yeah.
I mean, that is scouting.
I've never heard anything like that.
Direction.
I mean, I've shot 2 deer out of the same spot in 2 days with gun where I go hunting. That's not the same. And we're not talking giants. I shot like a 6-pointer and a doe, and I think it was like the 6-pointer one day and the doe the next day. And this is years back, and I felt pretty proud of that. I was like, 2 deer out of the same spot. All right, and that's certainly nothing like what you're talking about. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's still, when I think about it.
You got to go to the grocery store and get yourself some cherries, man.
Yeah. I'm going to start hunting cherry trees more often.
Yeah. Go get some cherries. Like, like I said, burn some cherry wood.
There you go.
And Johnny's such a good guy. He was a little upset I didn't kill Big 8. Because I wanted you to kill him. I was like, I know, but you deserve that deer more than I do. No. I was like, yeah, dude, this is, you deserve to shoot a deer like that. You do the work. You put in the time for years, 5 years of exclusively scouting, this 5 square miles. He knows the woods like the back of his hand, and for him to kill like that deer, for Jason to kill like his biggest, like, it just played out like he couldn't ask for a better, ending beginnings, ending, whatever you want to call it. Like for me, I mean,
It was the
spine
cherry.
cheek,
It
my
was the
dear,
cherry on the top, wasn't it?
Yeah, get it?
Dude, I couldn't help it. Sorry.
Yeah, but
Apparently that's the word of the day is cherry.
yeah, but the odds of like I rarely spine deer. Like I'm a good enough shot, and for me to spine a deer it's not common, and for me to do that, and then him come in, shoot that one, and Jason come in. Like if I would have just made a normal shot in that deer, and that deer would have ran probably back into the clear cut, none of this story would never would have happened.
Right.
Never would have took place. So it's kind of, it's surreal when you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Part of
It's
fate.
just one of those things. Like, yeah, it'll never. And like last year, I shot a buck in the mountains in a doe, and my buddy shot a big hammer up in the mountains. In a 2-day span. And I didn't think, and I've had quite a few epic hunts, like camping, camps. We've come home with the mountains 3 times now with, loaded up deer, all of us killing, great epic times. And I thought last year, me and my buddy tagging out the last 5 minutes of break, before perma kicks in on, his biggest bow buck. But this story here this year is, it'll never be topped. I mean, I can kill a Boone Crockett deer. It still won't top the story.
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm not a big inch chaser. Like I don't really chase inches, And I was telling a buddy in New York, Rick, was like, too many people are obsessed with chasing inches. Like I don't really necessarily hunt areas where inches are prevalent. There might be 140 in a 5 square mile radius where I live. There's a few mega giants, but they're slim to none. So I always try to tell myself, I'm not chasing inches. I'm chasing moments, chasing experience, because those experience and moments, that's what I'm going to remember, long after, the antlers fade, like the work you put in to get to, that destination, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that last year, that was a great little moment, experience, just the camaraderie, like, my lifelong hunt partner, we both, kill bucks. And then like this year, I never hunted with any of these guys, and for us to do what we did, it's like, that can never be topped. Like that experience it'll hold, a place, in my heart, in my mind, and like I said, who knows what that story's going to be next year when we go up there.
All those bucks are going to be.
You're gonna. Do you think you guys are gonna hunt down the cherry tree again? The cherry tree?
Yeah.
It'd be hard to. You're gonna be so married to that spot based on what happened here. It's gonna take a couple years to get out of the zone of that tree.
We'll be like fighting. We'll be like have to draw straws for that tree.
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors, or something.
Rock, paper, scissors tournament for that.
Shit.
Yeah. But yeah,
Wake up at 3 a.m. I beat you there. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, and Johnny put the cameras there. It's kind of like on a whim. Like he's like, I think this deer coming through there, but he had no concrete evidence deer were coming through there. He knew they moved through this area, because just the way the clear cuts kind of happen, and a little bit of terrain features. He's like, I know they're coming through here, but just to pull the camera that day, like just everything had to be literally perfect for that scenario to play out. Like you couldn't. He literally pulled the camera at 11 o'clock in the morning, and I was in the tree at 2, shooting deer. And that started the whole, like, domino
crazy,
effect.
dude.
It wasn't
The whole
all
thing.
within hours of each other.
Everything about it, man.
Yeah.
We do have a caller, actually. Do you want me to bring him in?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Mark from, does that say Granbury? Mark, you're live on the show. What's going on? Hey, Mark, you're live on the show.
Mark.
Can you hear us?
You terminated.
Mark is not there.
Mark is not there.
No, I think I must have pushed the wrong button.
Way to go.
Yeah. Sorry, Mark.
Sorry, Mark. If you try again, I'll try to get you in. Sorry about that. My bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes I click the wrong buttons. There's a lot going on over here on this side of the screen.
But it's, I talked to some people that, and there's like certain moments, I'm sure you guys have your crazy story moments. Like there's a story that just sticks out. You're like, I can't believe this just happened. You're like, what are the odds of this happening? And then like it happens, and you're like, holy shit, that just happened.
Yeah, and it just
You know?
you just can't get over how. So we had a hunt like that for our deer camp. I think it was 3 years ago, and we all tagged out except for my one buddy Mike. Poor Mike. And
way to go, Mike. Way to go.
Fucking Mike. He listens too.
Oh,
come on, Mike. Come on.
Oh, and to
but we
and the other guy.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, here I got something to add to the story, real fast.
Good.
And the guy Greg that was staying in the cabin, he ended up missing. He hit a limb and had arrow deflection on Wednesday. And he literally had a deer at like 6 yards. Deer came right into the tarsal gland from John's deer he put out. He said this big old buck come right to it, making scrapes, all bristled up, like ready to go. And he hit a limb with his broadhead, and he got deflection. So we almost all shot deer in a 24-hour span. Granted, he was in a different area, down the street or whatever, but still, it was just one of those moments, like the best deer camp you could possibly imagine. We all got shot at deer pretty much in 1 day's time.
3 out of 4 is pretty darn good.
Yeah.
The tarsal gland thing is no joke. That's a whole different story. My buddy Joel, who's called into the show plenty of times, he had gotten I think his brother got a buck or something, and so he helped drag it back, and he got the tarsal gland like all over him, and he went back in the woods, and he had a buck come and grunt at him like, "Hey, get out of my area!"
Mm-hmm.
So the one buck thought he was a buck, and then he took a good shot at him and got him. But the thing is, like 3 years ago, it was like the most chaotic thing in the world. A hot doe came running through, and then 2 bucks came chasing her immediately. And so my dad was like in the middle, and he hit the deck because they're like, all right, hit the deck. We're going to go.
Yeah.
And then like less than 30 seconds later, another one.
Yeah.
It's like 2 bucks basically just died on top of one another chasing this doe right past everybody as we were all walking out of the woods for lunch. It was like, holy shit. So that was pretty crazy.
I said those things, those stories, like, it's just cool hearing stories like that, and to be able to be a part of one's even more insane.
Yeah,
like I've had some crazy hunting stories, some crazy moments, and this here is like, wow, like those experiences, moments, that's what to me like defines you as a hunter, as a person. It's not the inches on the wall that make you a great hunter.
Well, it's a little bit like baseball, though. Like, you sit the whole game twiddling your thumbs, spitting seeds, and eating peanuts. And then at one point, you jump up, spill your beer all over yourself. You get peanuts all over the guy in front of you, and you're shouting, hooting, and hollering, and they just, made a triple or whatever happened. It's like you live for those moments of excitement that are indelible, that last forever.
Yeah.
And that's what you tapped into, man. Instead of peanuts, it was fucking cherries.
Cherries.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
like I said, and I've never met those guys, besides Johnny, like, and just, when you get to a hunting camp, like, with the guys of the same mentality, like, I've been into some hunting camps, and there's definitely a divide. You got the have and the have-nots, or whatever you want to call it. Like, these group of guys, they've been hunting together so long, like, I just kind of stepped in, and there was no weird awkwardness, like,
That's
it was great, and just that you couldn't ask for a better, better story, a better ending, and like now I got, I can't wait for next year. Like what me and Johnny were already discussing, where we're going to be scouting. Like we were scouting an area where he has a counter with a couple big 8 and 9 pointers. Daywalkers after rifle season, which is rare, but it's a safe to him. So we were looking for that deer a little bit, and I kind of found like a possible escape route where, the deer could be using under pressure to get off the mountain. And Johnny was like, nobody comes back here because that spot's a hike. It's a good walk. And he's like, I've never seen anybody back here. Because, people are lazy, and it's real thick. Like, people want to, rifles, they want to shoot 300 yards.
Though, like what Greg and I did this last Sunday, it wasn't even a factor of laziness. In fact, I think people being less lazy to go to the hardwoods, and we ended up going to a different spot altogether. It was just overlooked.
That's was an easy trail to the hardwoods. You know, that's a groomed trail.
Yeah.
They
Sure.
go right up there. Where you and I went, we went off the trail. We saw the deer trail crossing, and we just, yep, let's head this way. Well, I've never been this way. Well, me either. So let's just go see what's here.
Yeah.
And, you know, we got a pick cornfield, so this was a hot food source for a while. There's going to be sign going to it. You know, it's usually a westerly wind that comes off of that thing, so they got the wind in their nose the whole time they're walking to it. I mean, there's going to be sign here, sure enough. You know, rubs and scrapes and brownies laying everywhere. So life was good. We found a lot of good sign along the transitions from the prairie grass stuff down into the wetter stuff where there's canary grass and you know, willow trees and buckthorn all over in there and some dogwood. So we followed that transition around, and it's like, yeah, this is the stuff. They're going to be bedded in here, and
The does were. The bucks were bumping them out.
Yep. I had a buck hunting and chasing and fighting other bucks and doing some pretty cool stuff, but I never got to put eyes on him because he was 40 yards away on private land and a much safer area.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he ain't no dummy.
Yeah, no, he ain't stupid. I blew a grunt call at him. I blew a grunt call at him a couple times, and the last time I did, he was actually in there. You could hear him rubbing. I could actually see some brush moving. Could hear him rubbing his antlers on you know, the dogwood and any of the popple trees that he could find. You know, and then all of a sudden it must have been a doe that would get up out of either the cattails over there or the buckthorn thickets, and all of a sudden you'd hear him grunting and take off, and you'd hear a bunch of stuff cracking and crunching and banging around, and then you'd hear a doe snort, and then the doe would take off, and then, you know, it'd get quiet for another half hour, and then all of a sudden you hear the grunting again, and you hear the rubbing, and I heard him sneeze a few times, and, you know, it was exciting, but he never showed face to get a good look at.
Yeah, that's my typical November story usually.
Yeah.
You know, because I hunt, like I said, I hunt a lot of marsh and cattails.
Yep.
I'll see the cattails move. I'll hear them crashing, banging, booming, grunting, and running in the water, and it's like, that's all I get.
Yep.
I'm like, is it big? It's a little? Like, just anything. It could be a 6-pointer, but I'm like, oh, he sounds so big. It could be a year and a half old spike for all I know. But it's like,
Right.
oh, there he is. There's something's out there chasing.
Yep.
Yeah, enough to get you excited. Dude, that's an epic story, man. I'm glad you got to share with us.
Yeah. I'm sure this story will be passed around the campfires for a long time.
Good.
One,
You know, and
yeah, it will, dude. It definitely will. Definitely among your new, you know, found deer camp.
yeah, and like I'm gonna get the deer. I'm gonna ewer him out the deer. I'm gonna give it to Johnny because his cabin's almost done, and let him hang it in the cabin. So
That'll be pretty
as
cool.
a sign of good gestures or whatever you want to call it. You know,
Sure.
like that was our moment. Like we shed together. That deer deserves to be up in that cabin. So when people ask about that, you know, that story will always, you know,
Yeah, it'll be part
well,
of the trip.
people will know that story when they go to that cabin.
It's cool.
That's
I
awesome.
dig it. Well, you know, when we're done with all this, when you get a chance to hop in, well, you're not on Facebook. You're only on Instagram.
Smart man.
Yeah.
So Jason Carnahan just asked if there were any details on topographical features where you were hunting, but it sounds like you were hunting in the mountainous region.
Yeah. Johnny's a big, because like I'm a terrain feature hunter. Johnny, he's a terrain feature hunter, but it's got to be thick and nasty. Like you can have a saddle, but if it's open, he don't waste his time because he knows deer aren't going to be in there.
No.
You know, especially a mature deer. You know, and Johnny, like was talking to him, he's at that point where he wants to shoot 160s, 170s on public. Like that's where he's at. You know, he was like, I should have waited for that 13-pointer. You know, 'cause it was bigger. Like, but that 8-pointer, I'm like, dude, no way. You pass that deer up in any state. He goes, I wouldn't shoot that in Iowa or Illinois or something. I'm like, oh, I would. Yeah, but he loves hunting for. I get Jason. You said on Facebook.
Yep.
Terrain features with thick cover. that allows that buck to feel safe, especially in high pressure areas. I don't know what state he hunts in.
Looks like he's
But if you
out
hunt in a high
of
pressure,
Indiana, Pennsylvania.
yeah. So find the thickets and terrain. Features points that are real brushy. Just get away from the open woods, because people with rifles, they love shooting long distance. That thick beach brush or whatever it is you might have, clear cuts that are 4 to 5 years old, up to 20-year-old clear cuts. That's where you're going to find the big bucks hanging out.
Good deal. Thanks for answering.
That's what I learned from Johnny. Because just listen to how he talks and how he dissects the woods.
Sounds like we're going to get Johnny
he
on the
knows
podcast.
Maybe.
Dude, he's an animal.
I would love it. I would love to have him on.
His Instagram is the Johnny Stewart.
I follow him.
Yeah, and he left PA because we tagged out. We were going to hunt till Friday, but since we tagged out, we left, and they got all that snow. Well, he drove to Ohio and started hunting. Come home, went back to work, and then went back and ended up finding this mega shed of the deer he's been hunting for like 2 years. It's 180 inches. Like, the shed's probably, side by side, the deer's probably 180 inches. Like, that's the caliber deer. Like, he finds sheds like that all the time, everywhere, wherever he goes. And that's the deer he really wants to target as a bow hunter, which to me is just ridiculous.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
It's almost make-believe until you actually see one.
Well, that's what I say every time I see a buck. I stumbled across a couple guys that shot one when I was hunting last weekend or 2 weekends ago. I don't remember. Yeah, whatever. And they, I walk up on the same, this marsh bottom, and I walk up on this big body deer, real big for me especially. It was a nice 8, real nice 8. And I'm like, I love seeing this. It means they do exist. This is a real animal that walking in these woods.
Yeah.
I'm not, just hunting some mythical beast. This is real. Because every now and again I start to wonder, like, the fuck am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of faith that I'm in not the total wrong area, But that's super exciting, man. I'm really happy you shared the story with us. And I hope the listeners appreciate it and enjoy it. It's a cool story. We can all relate to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I like it. Hunt for the moments, not the inches.
Yep.
I think that's the tip of the week.
Yeah, it puts things in perspective too, because if I don't live in Iowa, like you guys don't live in Iowa, like 180-inch deer, 160-inch deer, like they're cool and all, but I look at my deer in the wall, and the work I put in, because outside of the deer in PA, I've literally worked 2-3 years for all my deer. Like, I've never been like, oh, I'm gonna go walk in the woods and kill a deer. I've worked and struggled, and hate using the word grind, but I had to grind out all these deer, and each one of these deer, I can tell you what day I shot them, what time it was, what the wind was doing, because that experience is just like, it's burned into my brain, it's burned into my memory,
for sure.
Which is, it's
that's
pretty,
the point. That's the point.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Well, dude, thanks again for being part of the show, for the hat trick.
Yeah.
3-peat, the first third.
Totally appreciate it.
Someday it'd be great to meet you at some point. If you make it out this way, make it out that way, whatever that looks like. I'll make a point if I'm out that way to look you up and say howdy, and maybe get
the
a
Harrisburg show.
Man. All right, Harrisburg.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, the Harrisburg Outdoor Show in February.
Good to go. Good to know. It's coming up quick.
Yeah, it is.
Woo-wee.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, hey, thanks again, dude. And, this will be up tonight. That's how it goes on this show. So you'll be able to tune back into this thing tonight and share and all that jazz. Thanks so much.
Oh,
thanks
sweet.
for setting it up,
Yeah,
Greg
man.
and Greg.
Thanks, sir.
All right, Greg.
Yeah.
Greg 1, Greg 2.
Yeah. All right, man. We'll catch you later.
All right. See you.
Bye.
Right, take care.
So we're going to end this, and then we'll cut the live. Hey, and everybody, thanks for tuning into the show. We appreciate you commenting and calling in to the folks that did. Mark, sorry I dropped you there or whatever I did. That's my bad. But everybody have a great night.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for interacting with us.